This is not your average courtroom drama. Rather, it is a jaw-dropping demonstration of boldness and disobedience that will have you questioning where the borders of proper behavior should be drawn. This will have you wondering where the lines of appropriate behavior should be drawn. Come along with us as we dissect the compelling details of this one-of-a-kind case, which revolves on a woman's disobedience of others in positions of power. Hold on for the ride, because this story is going to make you think hard about the limits of your bravery and the consequences that come with pushing those limits farther than they should go. A woman called Ebony Burks, who was 32 years old at the time, found herself in front of Judge Gary Bennett at the Elyria Municipal Court in Elyria, Ohio. Judge Bennett presided over the case. Due to the fact that Ebony was accused of both assault and domestic violence, she was up against a hard legal battle. During the course of the court proceedings, the judge gave Ebony a stern reprimand and warned her that she was prohibited from having any sort of relationship with the victims who were involved in the case. Ebony was also told that she was not allowed to have any contact with the witnesses. Due to the fact that she resided in the house that belonged to her grandfather, this verdict suggested that she would be unable to visit or communicate with her cherished grandfather, Shedrick McCrae, for as long as she continued to reside in that house. Ebony's veins started to hurt, and a rising tide of bitterness that had been building up inside of her finally overpowered her. Ebony had been harboring this animosity for quite some time. Her violent resistance was triggered by the things that she held most dear, including her grandpa, her home, and the sense of belonging that she received from all three. She could not abide the idea of being apart from them in any way. Her emotions started to spiral out of control, and she let loose with a verbal assault that was quite aggressive at the judge. Ebony was given a sentence of 30 days in prison by Judge Bennett at the commencement of the proceedings due to the disrespectful behavior that she displayed. Ebony, on the other hand, was unmovable in her adamancy that she would not yield. Instead, she maintained in her vehement arguing, which added fuel to the fires of the self-inflicted torture that she was already experiencing. The period of the defendant's sentence was gradually lengthened by Judge Bennett in response to each offensive remark and aggressive outburst made by the defendant.
You can't go visit them. If you go someplace and either Mr. McCrae or Ms. Castro's there, you have to leave. If you're someplace, even though you may have arrived first and one of them shows up, you still have to leave.
After discovering that she would be prohibited from going back to her grandfather's home, she filed an appeal against the decision made by Judge Bennett.
So you gonna tell me I can't go home?
I'm telling you, you can't go home. If you live with...
Whoa, I'm talking. I don't need you to say nothing.
If you live with Mr. McCrae, you cannot return to that residence.
Oh, but how you just gonna tell me I can't go home?
What?
How you gonna tell me I can't go to my house?
I just did.
Well, I bet I do.
Well, then you're in contempt, young lady, and you've got 30 days. So you're not going to... You're not... What?
Whoa.
Get back! Get back!
You just said I got
Get back! That's another 30 days. That's 60 days.
So what?
90 days.
So?
120 days.
Okay, and?
180 days.
Whoa! Please, quiet. Get off me!
After a duration of 180 days, Ebony suddenly walked away from the camera, leaving the courtroom in a condition of shocked quiet. Quickly approaching the camera, a security officer apologized on behalf of Ebony's disruptive conduct that was captured on tape.
I ain't bad. They got commissary. I got money.
That's 200 days. You got anything else to say, Miss Burks? That's 300 days.
At that very moment, Judge Bennett was aware that he had used up all of his opportunities to show mercy. It was with a sad heart that he handed down the entire 300-day sentence, ensuring that there was no room for interpretation about the repercussions of Ebony's disrespectful behavior. The woman was handed a sentence of 300 days in jail, and she served her time until December, when she was released to participate in the Residential Key for Women program. She served 88 days of the sentence when she was incarcerated throughout her stay there. It was asked of her that she withdraw from the program, but she did not return to the facility as was necessary.